Repeat it, but I want them to know that Laurie Rodriguez joined as a chief, if you don't know what a CFO is, it's Chief Financial Officer. Really smart. She's responsible for overseeing the company's finance department. Listen to this, multitask. Accounting, tax revenue assurance, planning and analysis, credit and collections, treasury, billing and transaction management, risk management, and strategic development. That's what she does for us at Ambit Energy. She has 20 years experience, but I think one of the most important things about her is that she's a woman, and she's a mom of 2 beautiful children, and she is a single mom. And I think that if anything, you are going to love her and she will relate to you. And if she hasn't changed the name of her speech, which we're allowed to do because women can change their mind on what they want to do. What is real success really? Help me welcome our Chief Financial Officer, Laurie Rodriguez.
Well, good, almost afternoon. Good morning still. It is just an absolute pleasure for me to be back here with you all this year. I was just thrilled last year to be able to come and spend some time with you and just share a little bit about myself and kind of dive in a little bit about what's, who I am, what I'm all about, how I got to be where I am. A couple of things have happened in the last year at work. Specifically, I took on 2 more departments. It wasn't in the bio there. I now have responsibility for human resources and our legal and regulatory compliance groups. So that just kind of added to the excitement of what I get to do every day. But one of the more exciting things that I do, and I really look forward to each year, is the Ambitious Women's Conference at Ambition, because that's the time when I actually get to get out of the office and meet with you all and have a chance to talk to you and get to know you a little bit more. And I don't get to do that as often as folks like Chris and Daryl and Jerry and others do. So for me, this is a huge privilege, and I just really appreciate you asking me to come back. I have not changed the title of my speech today. It is going to be, What is Real Success Really? And I hope you bear with me. I'm going to look down at my notes a lot today because what I prepared over the last few weeks to say to you today got changed while you all were in training a little bit ago, and I rewrote everything. So we'll see how this goes. And maybe I won't be successful, I don't know. But let me just start out by saying I am successful. And maybe that sounds conceited or, I don't know, arrogant, pretentious. I hope not, and I hope that at the end of my remarks you'll understand why I feel like I can say that, and that each of you can say that about yourselves too when I finish up. The title is, What is Real Success Really? And the answer to that is, I don't know, which sounds kind of stupid because I just told you that I was successful. But what success means to me may not be exactly what success means to you. And a lot of times when we want to know what something means, we go to Webster's dictionary and look it up. And so I did that. I looked up the word success, and what Webster had to say about it is it's the attainment of wealth, fame, or favor. And I thought about that for a while, and I thought, well, that's not always the case, or at least I don't think that's always the case. But a lot of people do define success as being that very thing. But I want to ask you the question today, is success really the culmination of things that we do, or is success really more about who we are? And so the things that I want to kind of bring to light today that kind of, as I was listening to folks talk this morning and just thinking about it, I've got 6 or 7 points I'd like to make. If you want to write them down, feel free. I don't have any nice slides to show you, so I'll try to talk slow and make sure that you get them. But the first one is, to me, is that success is an attitude. Have you ever thought that you can be really successful even when things don't go the way that you want them to? Think about Thomas Edison for a while. He's the one that invented the light bulb. But he tried hundreds, if not thousands of times to invent the light bulb before he ever became successful, as we term success, when he made it work. And so a lot of people would say that he failed hundreds of thousands of times before he ever got it right. But he looked at it a little bit differently. Edison said, no, I didn't fail. I was very successful in finding hundreds or thousands of ways it didn't work. So it's an attitude. The second one is that you should never let success be measured exclusively by wealth or fame. Now, a lot of times in our society, we do measure success in that way. But I think we talked a little bit about this last year, and Esther mentioned it this morning about that servant leadership kind of quality, that if you want to be a good leader and be successful in leadership, you have to constantly be supporting those and be the servant in order to do that. If you want to move up in the world or move up in the ladder or move up in the chain, you can't look down on the people that are around you. And so you can't ever really measure it by the fame or the wealth that you can achieve. Those are byproducts of being successful to me, not the definition of success. The third thing is that success is never achieved by yourself, and I think all of you all know this. There's never been any professional athlete, whether participating on a team or as an individual athlete, that's ever gotten to where they are on their own. They always have trainers, they have coaches that are there to help them, to correct flaws that they may have, and to support them. No world leader has ever been successful without a cabinet or a group of advisors giving them direction and advice on what they need to do. No successful businessman has ever created a business and established it and grown it on their own. There's a staff of people, a group of consultants working diligently every day to make that business and that company successful. And of course, the old adage and saying, there's behind every successful man, there is an even more successful woman. So nobody ever gets there on their own. Number 4, you should never really let your success be defined or determined by other people. As Esther mentioned, I've got 2 daughters. My oldest one is 21, and she's working full-time and going to college. My youngest is almost 18, and she's going to graduate from high school in, oh goodness, just a couple of weeks. So, I hadn't really thought about it until I just said it. So, but we were talking the other night about this talk that I have to give today, and I asked her, so Jessica, what does it mean to you to be successful, or how do you define success? And she thought about it for a minute, and she said, if I can just make somebody else feel good because of my actions or because of my attitude, then I think I'm successful. From the voice of a teenager, that was pretty profound, I think, and I was quite impressed with her response on that. And it really had nothing to do with Webster's definition, so that made me even happier, I think. The other point, or the next point, is that success can never be attained without effort. And I just want to relate a little story that I got from reading a book by Zig Ziglar, and some of you may know him, one of the most profound leaders that we have, or speakers and writers on success and positive thinking and that kind of stuff. And he told a story about this, 2 little mice fell into a bucket of cream, and they struggled to get out, and eventually one of them gave up. And but the other little mouse was determined to get out of the cream, and so as he struggled, eventually he churned that cream into butter, and he was able to walk out of the bucket. So for him, he was successful because he never gave up. And that's the thing, is that you can't achieve success, regardless of how you define it, without some sort of effort. And lastly, I think, but more importantly, and probably most importantly, is that I don't think you can really be successful unless you understand what your purpose in life is. And following that purpose and fulfilling that is what makes you successful. I don't know how you figure out what your purpose in life is. And for me, I think it's changed over time, and I think it changes for everybody depending on how old you are and what you're doing. As children, our purpose is to live and have fun and be good kids to our parents and obedient and be good students and learn. As we get older, our purposes change. And for me right now, bringing this back around to a very personal level, my purpose is to be a good mother, to make sure that my daughters are growing up and seeing a role model that they can be proud of. And, that's part of my purpose. Another part of my purpose is to make sure that I am being the best employee that I can be for the company, but at the same time also being a leader and a teacher and a mentor and a coach and a developer and a decision maker and a lot of things that I do at Ambit. My staff depends on me to be there for them when they have questions, to make decisions based on information that they provide, to guide them and to help them become better employees, for them to be able to advance in their careers. And so that's part of my purpose today as well. I think for those of us that either have been married or are married or in relationships now, part of your purpose is to love unconditionally the person that you've fallen in love with, and to make sure that you are that support and that helper and that confidant and that companion and that friend. So purpose changes and it evolves and it develops over time. But going through all of that and looking at all of that and where I am today, I feel confident in saying I am successful. Not because of the job that I have or the really cool title that I get to carry, not because of the cars that I drive or how much money I have in my bank account or any of that kind of stuff. What I feel like makes me successful is that I understand my purpose in life right now, and I think I'm fulfilling that. So in that, I am successful.